Bring back rock.
Hey everybody, it's Dean. Welcome to Bring Back Rock. There it is. Today we're talking about a band by viewer suggestion. They had quite a bit of success right out of the gate, and then also are very active right now. I'm not going to waste any time up front here. We're going to talk about Babylon AD. Also, I'm going to give you my poll results. The choices were Three Titans, AC/DC, Van Halen, or Pizza. So give you the poll results of that at the end of the video. All right, here we go, Babylon AD.
All right, let's talk about Babylon AD. No, not that one. That's a 2008 sci-fi actioner starring Vin Diesel that flopped with critics and audiences. Even the director disavowed it. I only saw it once and don't remember anything other than it wasn't as bad as I expected it to be. Now, let's get on to what we're really here to talk about, the band Babylon AD, which formed in the San Francisco area in 1987, which had a great scene. In addition to the thrash scene it's most known for, they had great rock bands like Babylon AD, Jet Boy, Vane, and Sea Hags. I mean, that's a great lineup right there. Babylon AD had more or less played everywhere in San Francisco there was to play. Their manager was in LA and wanted the guys to move down since he felt he was closing in on a deal and all the record labels were in LA. So the boys made the trip, rented a single room apartment for 7 guys. They partitioned it off with like sheets so everyone had like a sleeping area. So on Thursday they moved in. On Saturday they got a call from their manager, Clive Davis, record producer, former head of Columbia Records, and founder of Arista, wanted to see the band the next day. If you're not familiar with Clive Davis, look him up. It's an impressive career and roster of musicians he signed. So they do a showcase on Sunday for Clive and Arista. So here's what happened. They moved to LA Thursday and signed on Sunday. Clive actually took a liking to singer Derek Davis, who was simply going by the single name Derek at the time, bringing him to AOR meetings and insisting he give honest opinions on songs they were discussing, something Derek is sure wasn't smiled upon by the AOR men in the meetings. Arista was not known for their rock bands and were kind of setting up their division around Babylon AD. The Babylon wrote a lot with singer Jack Ponti. He produced a number of records like Baton Rouge and Doro, wrote or co-wrote with bands like Bon Jovi, Bonfire, Keel, Alice Cooper, etc. And while recording, Sam Kinison was also recording, and they became friendly. Sam had tons of guests. CeCe DeVille, Slash, Rudy Sarzo, tons of others. He told Derek, hey man, you need to sing on my album. So Derek did some backup vocals, and he told Sam, now you need to sing or scream on my album. And he did. And that's how Sam Kinison ended up on The Kid Goes Wild. Derek gave him an idea of what to say, and Sam did his thing. The song ended up the single to promote Robocop 2, but Sam's part was removed from the single, unfortunately, but if you know the song, you probably know why. Actors from the movie appear in the video, but Robocop was actually a guy from their record label in a Robocop suit. The band was invited to the Arista after party for the Grammys. Whitney Houston performed, and after that, Clive went on to talk and introduce new bands on the label, including Babylon AD. Derek says it was really surreal having Barry Manilow sitting next to him, Rod Stewart right behind him, all the who's who of Hollywood. Well, you could smoke still at that time, and guitarist Ron Freshy somehow set the table display on fire, and the whole table went up in flames. Manilow bolted, Stewart bolted, and Derek did too, getting as far away from them as possible, like I'm not with them, leaving the remaining members frantically trying to pat out the fire. When it was finally out, Clive from the stage just said, that's the new rock band, setting the world on fire. The self-titled debut was released in 1989 and had singles like Bango the Bells, Hammer Swings Down, and The Kid Goes Wild, finding success on rock radio and MTV, enough for the album to chart at 46, spending 38 weeks on the chart and eventually going gold. The band did have one bump on the road. Soon after signing, they had to part with guitarist John Matthews. The band did drink and party, but drugs were a non-starter for Derek. While recording, John basically self-destructed, losing himself in alcohol. He couldn't play in the studio and was basically out of control to the point the band and label agreed he just needed to be replaced. Like I said, simple self-destruction, clearing the way for friend of the band, Danny Della Rosa, to join. The classic Arista lineup was Derek on vocals, Danny Della Rosa on guitar, Ron Freshy on guitar, Jamie Pacheco on drums, and Robbie Reed on drums. Album number 2 was Nothing Sacred, released in 1992 and produced by Tom Werman. Unfortunately, this was 1992, and they did get a decent push from Arista, but, grunge happened, so they were in support of the album on the road, and they were informed by fans that MTV had completely embraced grunge and any 80s style rock band was not being played on the channel. Radio still gave them a little airplay, but we all know what happened to a band like this next. The next few years were going to be tough. In 2000, the band released the darkest, heaviest album to date, American Blitzkrieg, with Eric Pacheco now taking over on bass. I remember seeing an article on this saying, okay, we sold this many albums, we probably have this many fans, we sell this percentage of, them come back and buy this record. Well, they ended up with a ton of American Blitzkrieg albums unsold in their garage. Not that they're surprising, MTV had abandoned rock videos basically by then. Unless you were a big fan of the band, you may not have known about it. The internet was still young, it was just a tough sell. And it was a while before the band returned on Frontiers Records with their album Revolution Highway in 2017. Rob Reed returned on bass, but Danny De La Rosa had decided to hang it up, and that led to the return of John Matthews, the guy who self-destructed when they got their record deal. Well, he had cleaned up, and they stayed friends, he was ready to go. The last 2 years were very productive, with a new rhythm section, Dylan Soto and Craig Pepe, who came as a package deal on drums and bass respectively. Very young guys, early 20s, but loved the band and the era and fit right in. The first two guys they auditioned, no need to look any further. In 2024, the band released Rome Wasn't Built in a Day. It was critically received. It was received well by fans, got some airplay, really, really good, solid record. And they were very productive. In 2025, they released When the World Stopped, which was produced by Derek Davis. He kind of listened to the first album a lot and tried to sonically reproduce that sound for this album. They experimented just a little bit and went a little bit outside their box on a couple songs for this one. But check that one out. It's available to stream. One funny story, Derek Davis story, he almost didn't graduate high school. It was obvious he was going into music, and his music teacher made a deal with him. Teach or help me teach my class for 6 months and I'll make sure you graduate. Sure enough, every other teacher gave him a D- and he graduated. All right, so that is a bit on Babylon AD. Now let's hear a few music samples and I will catch up with you at the end of the video.
You're gonna get me, you'll never take me alive. You're gonna pull that fucking gun, you better use it. 'Cause I'm not going down, and I'm not going to jail, and I'm not doing any fucking time. This is my night. I'm alive. Angry and young, under the gun, the kid goes wild. Rebel alone, heart of the stone, the kid make it stop. The silence, kicking the teeth, but I've never run. Break my bones, you won't break me. I'm ready, ready. Rape my thoughts, invade my dreams. I'll find another your kind. Take the dog off the chain. Free me, 'cause I'm the wild breed, nobody rules. Take the dog off the chain. Oh yeah. The devil preaches a war, so if you wanna hold me and love me, ride the coming storm, I'll be right beside you, guide you. When the darkness comes, baby, when the world stops and the bombs drop, it'll be alright, baby, when the world stops and the bombs drop. We'll be in heaven tonight, heaven tonight. Through the wall, we never really had no chance at all. And I've lost that certain time for respect, yeah, yeah. 'Cause you've done to me some things I know you will regret. Bad blood pumping, running hot through my veins. I tried to compromise, but there ain't much more to say. Bad blood pumping, running straight to my brain. I've got to warn ya, there's bad blood pumping in me. Bad blood. Yeah, you play with me and my emotions, break the rules. Now Santa's face spread and the movies drop, the house is on down. Get from Kansas City, Missouri, went from nothing to the talk of the town. And she danced like no other, a wild cat ready to strike. When she danced, she was something good, like the goddess Venus of life. Yeah, 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 yeah,
All right, so that was a little bit about Babylon AD. Where can you find them? You can find them on your streaming services. All the albums are out there. You can also order them all. And you can find Derek Davis's solo stuff on Spotify also, as well as Danny De La Rosa's. So it's all out there. Check them out. Really, really good. All right, here we go with the poll results. Pizza came in at third at 24%. Pizza's the perfect food, right? Who doesn't like pizza? You can't decide if somebody doesn't like Mexican or somebody doesn't like Indian or Chinese or whatever. Everybody likes pizza. So pizza at 24%. At 33%, we have Van Halen. I thought that might be a little bit higher. I think maybe some people like the Dave stuff and some people like the Sammy stuff and maybe not all of it. So maybe that was contributing a little bit. And then AC/DC at 43% is the winner of the poll. I think that, again, two singers, but who doesn't love Brian Johnson? Who doesn't love Bon Scott? A little different situation with Bon Scott dying there. And, you know, you might like one more than the other, but most people like them both. So AC/DC at number one. All right, I'll drop another poll result, or another poll any second on my community page. Go and take that, check that out when you get a minute. All right, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch up with you on the next episode.